This is Twit.
In the last 24 hours, two very different stories have emerged. 9 to 5 Mac ran a story yesterday, and I was going to include it into our discussion today, that said pretty much if you drill down into certain iOS 7 source code, it really points to the iPad mini being updated with an A6 processor, so it'd be a little faster, but not with a Retina screen. Okay.
Still 1024 by 768.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And at that point, I read this and I was like, we got to talk about this on this week's iPad Today, because this pretty much proves that no one's going to buy an updated iPad mini. If you've got something like the Nexus 7 that has a beautiful screen
at $100 less.
Yes. It's not even the same price point. It's less by quite a bit.
for a 16 gig Wi-Fi version.
Exactly. And the whole knock on the iPad mini in the first place, and the reason why I don't use it as my everyday iPad, is specifically non-Retina. Because I'm so used to my Retina screen on my full-size iPad that I'm just like, that's just what I care about the most. And I know that I'm not alone. However, so that's one version of the story. And 9 to 5 Mac was quick to say, listen, things change. Don't, you take this at face value. Wall Street Journal says they have sources that say, anonymous sources of course, in the supply chain, that say no, Apple will have a Retina iPad mini this year and is working with Samsung as well as LG. And they've got another partner, I think it's called like Japan Electronics or something I'm less familiar with. And in order to make sure that they have enough and they don't run out of supply. Now, of course, Apple and Samsung have a precarious relationship because they sue each other a lot. And Apple probably doesn't want to be dependent on Samsung to make sure that if indeed they are trying to get a Retina version of the iPad mini out the door, they need Samsung because, again, it would be nice to be independent of a company that you're actively suing in a variety of markets globally and is suing you.
In fact,
but I don't know if they can get out of it.
You do know that Samsung won a lawsuit against Apple with the International Trade Commission, and if President Obama doesn't override it in the next 48 hours, Apple will no longer be able to bring iPad 2s or iPhone 4s into the United States.